Checking in with Mike Yawney one final time. Mike, you're telling us now about how our friends at Samsung are really behind this e-cycling thing.
Yeah, they are. It's hard to believe that all these bins come from local schools. Samsung Canada had a really unique initiative, and we're going to get to that in a second. But remember earlier we were showing you the hard drives being shredded and things like that? Well, once product gets shredded, it's kind of interesting to see how they actually get the minerals and everything out of here. Tawanda joining me now, just kind of walk us through the stages. It's quite fascinating to see.
So right here we have your plastic, and then we have your circuit boards. Now this is your mixed minerals, so you'll get your gold, and your palladium and your silver.
So those are kind of like the three main components. As after you do a shred, you get that.
Yes.
But once you get to the mixed metals, how?
So before we get this to our processor, our refiner, we actually turn it into dust. And this is the dust puck that looks exactly like this. And all of these is where you'd find, in this dust puck, you'd find your copper, your gold, your silver, and...
So that dust gets refined, split up into the individual elements.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so we collect this dust from our facility, the floors, anywhere that we can find the dust, collect it so that we can get as much residual value from the minerals as possible.
Even air filters and...
Yes, absolutely.
Unbelievable. That's really neat to see it all broken down like that. And of course, this comes from the stuff you see behind me, all these electronics, and there's crates and bins and stacks of everything from printers to you name it. And Nick, this came from local schools.
Yes, it came from 57 schools in the CBE and the Catholic board system that participated in the Samsung Challenge. In total, over 175 truckloads were collected in 1 month. Each school participated for a 1-week, 7-day challenge to collect as much e-waste as possible. And 3 schools are going to share a prize that Samsung will be awarding for the most e-waste collected in their challenge period.
And those 3 schools, I understand, get to split a pot of about $40,000.
Exactly. So $40,000 that can go back into their STEM, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And really the biggest thing and the most exciting thing of this was teaching the children and the students of these schools about sustainability and e-waste and what we do, how we can avoid putting material into the landfills. So it was a great learning experience for all the students. The participation in Calgary was phenomenal. The volumes of material that we brought in were far beyond what we were estimating that we thought would come in when we went into this challenge. Great participation, and as you can see from all the material in this facility, it was really heartwarming to see how much effort the kids put into this program.
Some of the schools obviously had, photocopiers and things like that, but individual families and students were also asked to bring stuff from home.
Yep. Also, businesses got involved, parents that are supporting their kids. So we saw some businesses getting involved and dropping off old electronics from their offices into the schools as well. And then Geep went into the schools and physically picked up all the material they collected and brought them back to the facility. And then it'll go through all the processes that we just talked about and showed.
175 truckloads that Geep alone picked up. A great initiative from Samsung Canada and Geep, of course. It's been a fascinating morning, and I've got to say a big thank you to Geep and Samsung Canada because they've never had cameras before in this facility. So to give us a behind-the-scenes look, it's been a fascinating morning, Ted, Jill.
Very cool.
And what's the craziest gadget you found in there?
A lot of the retro stuff, and I got to say, even some of the cool stuff like the antiques, everyone here signs a contract. They can't take anything home. It has to be destroyed if it comes in here, and they say it's heartbreaking because some really old school, really cool stuff comes in, they said, but it has to get recycled.
They do a good job there.
I would love to get my hands on an old Vic 20. That's what
But
I
there's
started
probably
my
a couple
computing.
back there.
Yeah. Really? Oh, man. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Mike Yawney, e-cycling this morning.
Tomorrow, what are you doing?